All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, with about 2 months to go in the 2021 Major League Baseball season, things are heating up in the National League West. The Los Angeles Dodgers and San Diego Padres were supposed to be here, but break up the San Francisco Giants. Now, the Giants have set the pace in this division for the majority of the year because the Giants have been in the catbird seat. Now, all three of these teams more than likely will make the playoffs, barring something catastrophic. And the big part about it is someone's going to be one and done in the postseason, which makes it so much more important to win this division. At the pace that all three of these teams have set, all three of them are going to win at least 90 games. And like I said, somebody's going to be one and done in the postseason in the wild card game. But then also, both of these teams are probably going to square off in the divisional round due to the fact that I don't see the central winner, which is more than likely going to be Milwaukee, or the team who comes out of the National League East being able to finish with a better record than these three teams, which means that whoever wins this division is going to turn right back around and get a divisional foe in the LDS. But nonetheless, you look at the Dodgers and Giants right now, they really have to go out there and counter the moves that the San Diego Padres have done so far. And I mean, recently we saw the Padres acquire infielder Adam Frazier from the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's going to be a huge boost to this club coming down the stretch here. Now, one big move the teams are going to be talking about, or everybody involved in MLB is going to be looking at, and that is Max Scherzer, the starting pitcher from the Washington Nationals. Now, all three of these clubs could benefit from acquiring Scherzer because, again, you can never have enough arms in the postseason. The Giants have been one of the better pitching teams in baseball this year, but why not get yourself a frontline starter like Scherzer? You look at the Padres; they have Yu Darvish and they have Blake Snell, but then you could throw another arm in that rotation like Scherzer. And if you're the Dodgers, you have a lot of questions right now centering around your pitching staff. Of course, we don't know the status of Trevor Bauer, while veteran starting pitcher Clayton Kershaw is still on the disabled list. And it's a situation where, you need some arms because the Dodgers definitely have the lineup to get back to the World Series and win it. But you know what? You need the arms. So you look at it, and all three of these teams are going to face each other a lot coming down the stretch. The Padres have 19 more games with the Dodgers and Giants, which includes the last 6 of the regular season. The Giants have 14 more with the Dodgers and Padres, while the Dodgers have 13 more with the Giants and Padres. For me, first and foremost, the Diamondbacks and Rockies are going to have a lot to say in regards to who wins this division. We've seen both the D-backs and Rockies, they fell out of contention very early on this season. And on top of that, it's a situation where they're bottom feeders in Major League Baseball this season. We've seen both of these teams throw in the white flag, or wave the white flag rather, as they are, becoming sellers just prior to the trade deadline. But nonetheless, all three of these clubs do have plenty of games remaining with the Diamondbacks and Rockies, and it's very important for them to take care of their business, especially the San Diego Padres, because they're pulling up the rear right now. They're 5.5 back of the San Francisco Giants, and they're 3.5 back of the Dodgers. Now, with that said, the Padres do have a 5-game lead over the Cincinnati Reds for the final wild card spot in the National League. I do expect the Reds to not go away quietly, but nonetheless, the Padres should be able to hold them off. But with that said, San Diego's got to take care of their business. They split a 4-game set over the weekend versus them on the road versus the Miami Marlins. And, they have a set starting tonight, 4-game set starting tonight at home versus the Colorado Rockies. Especially, you got to take care of your business, especially since Colorado has been so bad on the road this year. 2 at Oakland, and then 3 more at home versus the Diamondbacks, followed by 3 at home versus the Marlins. You got to go through them, and take care of your business, handle it. Right after that, 4 games on the road versus Arizona, followed by three more on the road in Denver versus Colorado. So if you were San Diego, you really got to go out there and put, your foot to the pedal and let it all hang out and go out there and try to take care of your business. You look at the Dodgers. Regardless of who they're playing, I think the Dodgers are going to go out there and try to take care of their business because they know how important it is. And for me, the same can be said for the San Francisco Giants. They split the first two of this series this week at home versus the Dodgers. They have the rubber match today. Johnny Cueto is going versus David Price in this contest, and definitely San Francisco wants to try to win this series. They've got a big one this weekend at home when they host the Houston Astros, but then they got a 4-game set in Arizona. They got to take care of their business, and then they're on the road for 3 versus Milwaukee, who is currently leading the NL Central. But then after that, 2 at home versus Arizona and 4 at home versus Colorado. And on top of that, 3 after that at home versus the New York Mets. The Mets, you never know what you're going to get from them. They are the first place team in the National League East right now, but that could be a potential playoff preview right there with those 2 clubs. But just prior to that, 6 games with the Diamondbacks and Rockies, San Francisco rather, definitely has to take care of their business. So you ask yourself, who has the edge in this race? And right now, for my money, I've got to go with the Giants because they're in first place. They've been playing the more consistent baseball all season long, and that's not to take anything away from the Dodgers and Padres. But you know what? Credit to manager Gabe Kapler. He is really getting the most out of this Giants club this season. And, some people are going to say they're overachieving, but the bottom line is you got to win some games that you're not supposed to win some series that you're not supposed to win. And that's what the Giants have been doing, as they've been a thorn in the side of the Dodgers and Padres all season long. So I'm still going to give them the edge. Ultimately, I said it before and I'll say it again. I think that the the Dodgers rather, find a way to win this division once again. You look at it, they've been the team to beat in the National League West for nearly a decade now. Of course, 3 trips to the World Series in the last couple of years. They won the World Series finally last year after falling short in both 2017 and 2018. But nonetheless, I look at the Dodgers. They're going to find a way to pull this out. I think they're going to find a way to make a move or moves prior to the trade deadline to make it happen. I know that they're hopeful to get Kershaw back. And I think the Dodgers, all 3 of these teams, but especially the Dodgers, I think they understand the importance of winning this division. And it's such a contrast right here because if it's a big difference, because if you win this NL West this year, you're going to have home field advantage throughout the National League playoffs. And if you don't, obviously you're going to be a wild card team, and you got to really do things the hard way. And I think back a couple of years ago, matter of fact, it was 2015 when the National League Central was so dominant, and we saw the Cardinals, Cubs, and Pirates all reach their postseason. And the Cubs won 97 games that season, and they were a wild card team. And they not only were they a wild card club, they were a wild card club that had to go on the road and beat the Pittsburgh Pirates. And that just gave you an idea of how dominant that division was, because St. Louis won it by winning 100 games. Now, nonetheless, the Cubs were able to defeat the Pirates and Cardinals and advance to the LCS before getting swept by the Mets. But with that said, you always don't want to try to go the wild card route. I know the Giants have come out of the wild card and won the World Series before, but it is still a difficult road to navigate. But nonetheless, I look at it like this. I think this is very good for West Coast baseball, that we have a scenario where the Dodgers, Giants, and Padres are all good at the same time. You think about these 3 clubs that call California home. You think about, being able to get from San Francisco all the way down to San Diego on I-5. Of course, it's going to take a long time due to the traffic, on the freeways out there in California, nonetheless, especially in the LA area. But with that said, I think this is very good for West Coast baseball to have all 3 of these teams competing for the divisional crown at the same time. And you think back to a different era in baseball, especially like you looking at the 1970s and 1980s and early 1990s before expansion took over once again. And it was a situation where when the East Coast teams went west, It was all about either starting in San Diego, working your way up the coast to San Francisco for that West Coast trip, or starting in San Francisco and working your way down for the West Coast trip. And now all three of these teams are competing with one another. You think about the Padres and their fans. There's always a disdain for the Dodgers down there in San Francisco. You think about San Francisco. There's a disdain for the Dodgers, and of course in LA, there's darn sure a disdain for the Giants. So with that said, I think this is great. I think this is good to enhance the rivalries in this sport, in this division, through these three teams. And I really want to see what moves that both San Francisco and LA are going to try to make to counter San Diego. And I don't think San Diego is done either. So I look at it like this. We still got a day or so before the deadline, actually a little bit more than 2 days. Right now before the trade deadline. So definitely some moves are going to be made. But I think coming down the stretch, it's going to be a battle of battle. And I cannot emphasize this enough. The winner of this division more than likely will get home field advantage through the NL playoffs. And one of these three teams is going to be one and done in the postseason. So the race is on to avoid that wild card game. The race is on to win that division. And these three divisional rivals will definitely be buckling down for the next couple of months to try to duke it out and be the NL West champion. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take the time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.